Okay, King Lear. King Lear. I think probably understood the least out of all the Shakespeare I've read so far, but that is okay. I will nevertheless endeavor to make a notes video on it, because I am required to. First thing I would like to talk about is obligation, fulfillment thereof. In King Lear, question of what does it look like to be doing the right thing or to be a good person comes up a lot. I'm thinking particularly of the three sisters in the opening scene. Um, Two sisters say that they love their father more than they're obliged to. Like, he's their father, he's the king, he's done all these good things for him, merit some love. They say, no, I love you more than that. The king's like, awesome. I like that extra love going on. And then the last sister, Cordelia, uh, says, no, I just love you as much as I have a duty to love you, no more, no less. He's like, not awesome. Uh, you're out of here. Of course, it by the end of the play, or not even that far into it really, the two older sisters stop going over and above the amount of love that they should have, if they ever did really, and go to less than they're obliged to love him. But Cordelia remains constant in her just as much as she's supposed to love him amount of love. Um, so I think an assertion, a theme kind of coming up is not too much, not too little, kind of this moderation is best. Um, but not, it doesn't really assert that loving more than you're required to is bad. Just that not actually loving as you are obliged to is bad. So the thing, I'm wrapping this up with trust in this core idea. Um, Before you can get into saying, oh, this person loves me even more than they're supposed to, and this person only as much as they're supposed to, I'm going to go with this person. Before you go to that, you have to be able to tell if this person actually loves you the amount they are supposed to, for real. Um, and so there's a kind of trust first in obligations and people's ability or people's consistency in fulfilling their obligations, and then you can trust beyond that. Um, yeah, so trusting duty. I think look to trust first in the genre of duties, and then go beyond that. Uh, yes, and so duty as a, I don't know, a category of things meant to allow you to know where to look for trust. Basically, I mean, like, all sorts of things can be called duties, but when I talk about a duty, I'm saying specifically this thing that's so important that if I'm going to trust someone, first I need to trust them on this topic. So I think this is an interesting view of duty, which I hadn't thought about before. So probably use it for the synthesis, but before that, talking about raising children as a related system of trust, and that no matter how many good things you do in building someone up and teaching them well and instructing them well, um, you would think that orderliness would cause good children, but that isn't necessary because people have free will, really, and they're able of choosing evil even when they've been brought up well, and that you can't force them to do the right thing because that violates free will. And so because of that, you can't trust order to produce order and goodness. There's a kind of randomness or arbitrariness in the original sense of the word, like up to the will and not up to determination or anything, about whether or not this one thing will produce good things. And so that's something that King Lear doesn't understand. He thinks that all the good things he's done for his daughter necessitates that they'll treat him well, when it doesn't. So, in the same category of thinking about what is worthy of trust, going above and beyond of obligations is not worthy of trust, because you might be faking it, and you might not have the foundation of actually fulfilling obligations. You might not have that foundation. And in the same sense, trusting order as something that is indicative of the good that is to come isn't good, because it's not a necessary thing. It might imply that they'll be good, but it's not proving anything. So order is something that is built. Maybe I'm changing what I'm saying. Order is something that's built upon goodness. You have goodness, and then the way that exudes itself over and above its goodness is through order and well-structured society. And over and above loving someone is that same kind of thing. So I'm putting these together to say that you can't trust either of these, because they're built on top of these foundations. But these foundations might be corrupt or weakened or even non-existent, and so these aren't trustworthy of these. So trusting fundamentals is a big theme of King Lear, I think. I'm going to stop the video and then put that into very clear words. So here's the core idea. Don't trust the signs of goodness, trust goodness. Don't trust your discipline of a child, trust the child if it proves itself trustworthy by being good. Don't trust the one that exaggerates their love as being beyond obligation. Trust the one who is honest and says that they just do as much as they're supposed to, and then they do just as much as they're supposed to with evidence and through action. That is my core idea. Okay, synthesis is in regards to duty, particularly the construction of duty. I think the reason why we call some things duties is because we're trying to stress that it is particularly important that you be trustworthy in this area. You have tons of responsibilities, but the ones that you would say, like, this is your duty, as a way to stress that is saying that I need to be able to trust you to do this, even if I'm low on evidence. Merely by saying that this is your duty, as a good person, as a decent person, I should be able to safely assume that you are doing your duty. And I think compared to some other things as being duties laid upon you, and things like that, like you are given this motivation, you're given these new powers, so you have these new responsibilities, you have more of a potential to do evil or to do good, so now you have to do good, and like love, and some of my other notes are talking about love and duty. I think this goes along with that, and saying the more important it is, and the more life-changing it is, the more affecting of other people it is, that is what's generating the necessity of being able to trust you in that category. I think it's not just one of degree, as has been said before in some of my notes, but I think it can be particularly because it's foundational and core and like a nexus, that that naturally goes along with it being significant as like a source of power. But beyond that, if I'm going to trust you as a person, I need to be able to trust your core. So even if that doesn't come out as an important thing, trusting of the core of a person as a duty, I think synthesizes a lot of what I've been saying about duty in Shakespeare and in some Greek and Roman thought.